show was supposed to go live in February of 2016, but we've actually jumped the gun, and the show's going live a couple weeks early because of a couple really important and fascinating things that have happened in the last that have transpired in the last couple weeks. One being El Nino. This year had been hyped to be a very big El Nino year, and the winter started off kind of slow, and everybody's like, "Oh, is it going to be a real El Nino?" And as soon as January 1st came around, we had the first big storm on the West Coast, and there was a ton of rain, and the first big swell came in. It was kind of big and junky, but you could surf some places, but the waves were kind of AIDSy, and the water was kind of dirty. Then the second week of January, another swell came with better weather, and the waves were bigger, and everywhere in from Hawaii to California to I'm sure Oregon and Washington State and probably parts of Arizona and Utah got really good. Like everywhere was good for a week. Something happened that was amazing and awful and terrible and also kind of hilarious, and that was there was a clip online that was going around because everybody was shooting video for this swell and going crazy and posting clips on Instagram almost instantaneously from Hawaii and California and wherever else was good. Last week a clip went online of a guy, first there was a guy named Dane Reynolds on a wave at Sandspit in Santa Barbara pulling into a barrel and then immediately getting burned by a guy, a goofy footer, that drops in him and burns him super blatantly and then falls in front of him. And then the video cuts to like Dane standing up in the water, like raising his arm saying, "What the fuck?" And as soon as that clip went on, everybody in the world, that surfs and follows social media and stuff for surfing videographers and companies saw it and immediately started commenting on the poor guy in front of Dane, calling him a kook and a snake and a dick and just being completely evil and terrible and a jerk. I saw the clip the day it came out. I saw it. I was probably, like everybody else, was probably in the bathroom, probably in the toilet, scrolling through Instagram or whatever. And I saw an autoplay clip of the video, like a 10-second clip of Dane in the barrel, guy snaking him, guy falling, Dane with his arms, "What the fuck?" And I immediately wrote him off like, "Oh, what a Barney, who would do that? What an idiot," which, is just not the nicest way in the world to think, but that's pretty much how we think when we see something like that. Cut to a couple days later, beachcrit.com, which is it's an online surf magazine made by, I think it's one of the guys that used to do Stab and the guy that wrote the book about Hawaii that got him banned from Hawaii, Chaz Smith. I think it's Derek Riley and Chaz Smith. But they do a great job. They put out a lot of them. It's Beachcrit. They put out grittier surf stories. They kind of do a little bit more like Stab magazine style, a little bit, gossipier, more talking smack kind of articles. But they did something really cool. They actually found out, they put two and two together on an Instagram comment on one of the videos and figured out who the guy snaking Dane was, and they got in contact with him, and they gave him a little article basically interviewing him, and explaining the fact that he wasn't a kook and it was a huge accident, and everybody was freaking out on this guy for no reason. And it was the reason that I got so intrigued by this is because when I clicked on the article and read it, I was like, holy crap, I know that guy, and I've known that guy for a long time. That guy is a really nice person, and there's no way that he would burn Dane Reynolds on purpose, and I can't believe he fell on that wave because he surfs so good, and oh my god, I bet he's just a regular dude who doesn't do like a lot of social media stuff or whatever, and isn't like trying to be famous or whatever. So I bet he feels terrible about all these. I bet there's so many crazy people contacting him and being a jerk. I bet it's just so horrible for him. And so the first thing I did is I hopped on Facebook, and I didn't have his phone number, so I sent him a message like, "Hey, it's Dan. Give me a call. I'm doing this new surfing podcast, and I want you to be the first guest. And I want to talk to you about the Dane Reynolds thing." And then he called me. We chatted for about 10 minutes, and he told me the story. And I was like, that's too good of a story not to share with people, because if you watch the video, it comes up like, oh, some Barney that can't even surf dropped in on Dane and fell and almost killed him. If you talk to the guy, and if you listen to the interview we're about to do, you're like, wow, that guy's like a super nice, mellow, really humble, sweet kid. Well, he's a grown man, but sweet guy who's probably pretty good surfer and totally not a dick. He just had literally the worst luck and worst day and worst 10 seconds of his life surfing. Happened to get caught on 4K video at one of the most crowded places in California that day and get put on the internet, before he even drove home that night. And, he made the mistake. You'll hear the video interview. He explains how he got kind of like out. He accidentally outed himself on social media and then started getting a bunch of hateful comments. But again, the guy is super cool. He's super mellow. I love him to death, and you'll love him too after this interview. The first guest on the Surfing Podcast, Mr. Chuck Rigano. I gave you a very nice intro, but now that we're here in person, I want to say to your face, you are Honestly, I grew up in Huntington Beach, and then I moved away for like 10 or 12 years, and I moved back. And the first summer that I was back, you were one of the first people I saw in the water that I knew from like 20 years ago when I was a little like younger kid. And I was like so happy to see you. I'm like, oh, fuck, that guy still lives here. What? Oh, Chucky, that's Chucky. Hey, what's up, man? I was so happy to see you. And you're like, you're a great guy. You surf well. You're super polite. You work in the surf industry, but you're not like a weird kind of like scumbag like dick about it. You're just a good all around guy. And the reason I preface that, and like I said for the intro for the show, I'll probably do the same. Is the last couple weeks, you unfortunately became semi-internet famous among the surf community for a video clip at a surf break in California where you did something kind of hilarious, and on video it looks awful. I gotta admit, on video it looks terrible. It looks like, oh my god, that guy's a jerk. What is that kook doing? He's the worst person. But then if you watch the whole video, you're like, oh, that's not that bad. And then if you hear the story, it's an amazing story because it's exactly almost the opposite of what people would think from seeing the video. So the clip of the video that I'm sure I set up for the show is you at Sandspit in January 2016 during one of the early El Nino swells, dropping in on Dane Reynolds, who's in the barrel at this point on the wave, and then not only dropping in on him, he kind of straightens out, looks a little pissed. Then you blow the wave, and then the video immediately cuts to him like standing up, put his arms up. I'm assuming saying, "What the f? Why the f would you do that? Die on fire." And that's the clip, and that was enough. Every website in the world ran it, and someone was filming in 4K like video. So like some of the articles were, "Hey, Dane Reynolds gets burned in streaming 4K. Watch it now. It's this kook, whatever." And then the comment section, especially on websites like Stab or we talked before the show, like Stab does the discus style comments where you can kind of like make up a fake identity and comment anonymously. And you do that on a website, it's just brutal, and it's just awful, and it's just, I mean, from racism, misogyny, to just awful people, to people who want to stab puppies and have sex with them, like, it's just the worst comments. I prefer Facebook comments on a website, because you go, oh, that guy, at least maybe he'll lose his job for dropping 9 N-bombs on an 11-year-old that fell on a wave at lowers. But, so the comments are brutal, and, like, you are such a nice, I'm not trying to make you laugh, but you're such a nice, easygoing guy. And you're such a sweet guy. I didn't know it was you, and I kind of wrote you off like, oh, what a dick, Then I saw an article, I think on Beach Grit, was like they found an Instagram thing of you and wrote a little article about it. And I was like, that's Chucky. And then the first thing I thought was like, that guy is the nicest guy I know. That guy surfs really well. I've never seen that guy burn anyone in my life, even at the most crowded day at Northside or whatever. Like, oh, I bet you there's such a great story behind it. And I read the Beach Grit article, and they'd done an article on you on your Instagram post about it. So I just want you now. I just wanted to set it up, and now I just want you to just walk us through the whole thing, beginning to end, including how Beach Grit wrote the article based on an Instagram comment that you made that you weren't expecting to get shared with the world. What was your Instagram comment that became the headline for that article?
Oh, wow. Okay. I gotta gain my composure again here. Yes, definitely. So, the whole story aside, the Beach Grit article, I had already stopped looking at everything online about it. I kind of just put it behind me. And then, of course, one of my buddies put me on blast on their thing, where everybody's just, who's this kook? And my buddy just tags me and says, Chucky, is that you? I'm like, fuck, of course it's me. But then so I just kind of I'm explaining to him what happened, and when explaining to him, but in the comment,
you're like just right. Yes. You're on Instagram on a picture or whatever video. You're writing a comment like at mentioning the friend back in the comments, just thinking that you're kind of having like not a private conversation, but a one-on-one conversation in the comments. You maybe someone will see, but it's not. You're not thinking that anyone's gonna read it and then print read it, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
So what did you say?
So I was just, not referring to Dane Reynolds himself or, anybody in that immediate circle. It was more just the people online that I had seen. Yeah, they seem so mad, and it's a saying that I've heard over the years from friends. I think I actually when it first happened, I told my friend what happened, and he's like, big deal. It's not like you fucked his chick and spit on his baby or anything.
Yeah, because he has a new son.
Yeah. So, I didn't even know he had a kid. I had no clue. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend.
It's not like he fucked his chick and spit on his baby. No. I think that was in Star Wars. Yeah, I think that was right after the Death Star, because they're all mad. They're like, hey, it's not like you fucked your chick, Darth Vader, you fucking bitch. So you're totally right. I mean, that's just a colloquial. That's that's almost like, where's the beef? Really, it's almost that popular of a saying. So you're fine, but you tell your friend that,
Yeah, honestly, all it really means was it's not like I just walked up and bitch slapped the president or something. You know what I mean? It was just kind of describing how angry these random people. Everybody was so mad over it. It was like, whoa, these people are so mad. It's like,
and you didn't do it on purpose. That's the thing. We'll get to the story, but you didn't do it on. It wasn't a malicious thing at all, right?
No,
because you're like
not,
you
not
don't have
at
a
all.
mean bone, dude. You're such a cruisy dude.
No, it was like probably the biggest like dumbass moment of my life, but I definitely didn't do it on purpose.
So, what's the amount of time? What's the time gap from the time you hit like send on that response that you post that comment to when the Beach Grit article appeared?
Oh, they actually had commented under it and been like, "Oh, that's a brilliant way of telling the story, Chuck. You got any more for us?" So I just kind of started rapping with them back and forth, and I was honest. I was like, yeah, I mean, I would have been pissed too. Anybody would be pissed if they get dropped in on like that, at first. And just like him, eventually I would have been over it. Like 10 minutes later, I think I seen him in the water. I was like, I wouldn't have really done that to you on purpose, man. I wouldn't drive all the way up here and do that here. I mean, maybe at home if someone was being a complete dick, but no, I wouldn't really go up there and do that on purpose. But he was actually super cool, He was just like, he even said, he said himself, he's like, I know it wasn't intentional. I know. You did almost kill me, though.
Like, he was pissed.
He was
30
kind of
seconds
joking
after,
about
and then he like let it go, like everybody that's not a maniac, a normal person. He was like,
Yeah.
he's like, what the fuck? And then he was like, cool with it. And then 10 minutes later, it's like the same thing happens anywhere else. So then he like non-famous. So you burn a guy and you didn't mean to, and he's really mad. Usually like 10 minutes later, when there's a lull, you'll paddle by the guy and be like, hey, it's cool, dude. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
Oh yeah. It was pretty much similar. He had moved on, got plenty more waves. So many other people got snaked by then. I felt like I was in the clear.
I kind of feel like you might have set the precedent for that day. We're like, oh, I guess it's just game on. Let's just burn everybody now. Maybe you were the one that flipped. No, probably not. I think that's a pretty cutthroat lineup. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about on the right now. I wanted walk us through the day and walk us through what serving the Sandspit is like, especially on the first big swell of the winter, and how crowded it is and what the waves like and what your day was like. And because there were some other things that had kind of led up to that didn't help the situation not happen. So what take us to that morning and then how you got there and what happened.
So, I was just kind of had one of those days where I wanted to get away from everyone and do my own thing. There was waves at home. I mean, I should have surfed here. It was going off. I would have scored and not had to deal with any of the stuff I did. But anyways, I felt like getting away. I was kind of just feeling stressed out. So, I even had a couple of friends call me to surf, and I was like, yeah, I'll give you a call later. And I felt bad, but I just took off and kind of didn't answer my phone. I drove up there and, just I was so stoked. I pulled up and I'm stretching on the beach and it's packed. I mean, it looks so good, but it was crowded. Probably 75 to 100 guys in the water while I was stretching, looking at it. And it did not get any less crowded while I'm out there. I'll put it that way.
And what time in the morning did you go? What time did you get there? 11, noon? How late did you get there?
I didn't paddle out until probably close to I want to say 2 o'clock or so.
Okay, so you're in the afternoon. You're like everybody that's either not gone to work or school or bailed on work or school or just got out of school or about to get out of school. So you're surfing at the most probably crowded time of the day. And it was like this. That was the first big swell of the winter, pretty much. That would make Sandspit kind of do its thing. How is the I've never surfed up. I've surfed up in that area a lot, but I've never surfed that spot because it's so fickle, and I'm lazy to drive 2 hours to go surf a wave with 100 dudes. I can do that here in the summer. What's the lineup like? Is there one takeoff spot, or besides where you drop in on people on the shoulder? But what's the takeoff spot? Totally me. I'm sorry. Except for you burn the most famous free surfer in the world. Besides that spot, where does everybody usually sit? Or what is it, like a lowers wave or Rincon? Where some of your best waves, especially Rincon, I'll get paddling halfway back out. A guy will fall on his first turn. I'm like, oh, dude, stoked, and just drop in, and you get a killer wave. What's the lineup like there?
Well, pretty much if you're not maybe 1 out of 10 guys out there, I wouldn't even go. There's about 10 guys out there that are scoring, but those are the guys that get waves out there. They've been surfing out there their whole lives.
Have it dialed. They're locals.
Dane's one of them, and a couple of the other pros. Of course, Bobby Martinez. He's my hero.
He had clips in the swell. It's just
yeah.
Oh, dude, his backhand is just razor laser, just insanely sharp.
Oh yeah.
You should still be on the tour. God, that guy surfs so good.
So when you're looking at it, I never made it all the way up the point because there was literally over 50 guys sitting in a pack outside of the rocks where you take off, and there's this big backwash that hits it, and I just personally, when I go somewhere where I don't know anyone, I don't
you don't
paddle up into the middle of the pack of guys.
You sit at the bottom and try and like get a good wave and or some scraps and try and surf your best and maybe try work your way in. You can't. So one, you don't paddle to the pack, and two, it sounds like it's so crowded there would be no room for you. There's nowhere to even sit. You would have to like sit on top of a dude to be there. So you're kind of in the secondary off to the side pack, which I'm assuming. Lowers, Cordell's going to be on the show, I think, next week or the week after. He's like the mayor of Lowers, and I was talking to him about that. Lowers is weird now because I was a little kid. There's a pack of like 60 or 80 guys outside, and there'll be a couple like maybe 10 groms on the inside. Now it's so crowded. There's 60 or 80 guys outside. Then there's 40 or 50 dudes in that secondary like flotilla on the inside. Where if you get a set wave, it's not the fact the guys on the outside are staking you. It's like you're standing up, dodging or going between dudes that are just starting to paddle and kick and or little kids bailing their boards or 50-year-old dudes bailing their boards on a 4-foot day, which is amazing. Congratulations, heroes. But it's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost two separate packs to deal with now, let alone all the other people like kind of wiggling in and out to get waves too. So that's kind of feels like with a right point break, you're even more screwed because you got 50 dudes plus whoever's on the side and then people that are in the way. And then I'm assuming just because it's surfing, at least 20% of the people out there should not be out there. I'm not saying, not saying, but they just like, even if they got a wave, they're not going to be able to like negotiate that drop. And that was, we talked before the show. Sandspit looks like a hard wave to surf. Doesn't look, oh dude, it's a perfect place. Drop in and you're dialed. Like it's a tricky wave to surf. Why?
Well, personally for me, I have a horrible backside tube stance. Even before I got in this accident I was in a few months back where my back got kind of jacked.
Okay.
I already was probably the most horrible backside tube rider that I know. Uh-huh. I mean, if the waves are good enough size where I could fit, I'm good. But when I try to tuck into like even like a head high wave that runs off, I just go over every time. I had no business surfing out there. I should have been somewhere else doing turns. Honestly, yeah. Personally, I just right when I seen it, I knew I was like, oh, I'm not going to get a set wave that's big enough for me to fit in. I'm going to fuck this sucks. I'm going to get screwed out there. And I still went out and look what the fuck happened.
How many times have you surfed it in your life? Probably
2.
Okay, so this is your second time counting, or?
Yes, that was my second time.
Wow, you're a lucky guy. Okay.
Probably last.
So yeah, but it's also, we were talking before the show. It's kind of like a fast wave, like if you go on a boat trip to Indo, all those waves in Indo look like, oh, I'm going to surf, Lances, and I'm going to surf like hideaway waves. This is like this killer perfect wave. Those waves are fast and they run, and they're not waves you can really catch from the shoulder. You have to take off at the peak because once the waves like start breaking, they go and they're just like, if you're not in the face, you're going over the falls. You're not going to have a lot of. There's not a real high incidence of forgiveness, like where you can drop in and where you can't drop in, let alone if there's like a pro in the barrel on the wave already. So that was the best part, is like you on the video clip, which is linked, it's in the show notes. It's been already featured on the website for this podcast. There's also many other websites. Congratulations, Chuck. But you drop in and it looks like it's a kind of a weird drop, and then you don't make the wave and you kind of like go up too high and like kind of El Rolo like over the falls or into the lip. But there was also some other circumstances that led to this. You didn't just blindly drop in. So what were the other circumstances that were, what else was going on that people can't see in the video or didn't know about in the video?
All right, so I'll walk you through it. I mean, there was
this is so bad. This would be like if it was a podcast called "Oh, My Favorite Pet Died," and I just had people on who like they just lost it, like a Labrador they had for like 18 years, like it was at their high school graduation, and whatever, and like, so your dog dies. What is it like when it breathes its last breath at the vet's office? And you're like, oh, we could pay $800 for the surgery, but we can't make rent. So you can put it down. Do you hold its paws? Do you look in its eyes as the life leaves it? Do you suck its last breath in to like consume its soul like a Native American? What is it like? The people are just like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is terrible. So my apologies. But that being said, walk me through every single millisecond of what led up to this. Like, like the set's coming in. Go from there and just take us all the way through.
No worries. So I had probably already been out for maybe an hour or so, and I got maybe one wave. I was having a horrible session, probably like the worst guy out there, honestly. But so I got one wave, and then there's probably about 50 guys sitting along down the point too, just waiting for people to fall, kind of where it happened with me. And so I was just trying to get waves even with those guys, and it's impossible. Honestly, I wouldn't really recommend going up there to anybody that doesn't surf up there all the time anyways. But But so basically, so you want me to walk you through what happened?
Yeah,
right now?
and that's another
Okay.
reason why we're mentioning where this spot is. Like a lot of the websites, like, oh, someplace in like Santa Barbara. It's like, dude, you can say Sandspit because this show, if you're a surfer that hasn't surfed it, you should only not want to surf this wave after hearing the show. Because like I said, Chucky is a very good surfer, very as poor as his backside tube riding is that he claims. He's a good surfer, and he's having problems getting waves, which makes you feel like anyone I know would just be super bummed. So that's why, like I said, we're not giving away a secret spot. Sandspit's pretty well known, but yeah, this show is basically like a scared straight for Sandspit. Like, here's why you don't want to surf here, and here's the worst thing that can happen. So go, Chuck, jump into it, dude.
Okay, so there we go. So then I remember telling one guy in the water. I had a few friends out there, but I didn't talk to him after it happened. Of course, I didn't really want to embarrass
No one wanted
any
to
of
sit
them.
by you.
But yeah, I was kind of on my own. But so I remember telling one guy, I'm like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go somewhere else in my wetsuit. I don't care if someone sees me driving in my suit, takes a picture. I don't give a fuck. I'm gone. You know what I mean? So I get this shitty little wave, and then I'm like, maybe one more, just one more. And I was kind of at the bottom, and oh gosh, so I'm paddling back out, and so this is where it happens. I remember, like, I kind of paddled by one guy. He was probably the last guy on the point. I was pretty far down the bottom, and even though the waves were still going past that was like the last guy. And I was just kind of paddling back out to paddle up a little ways and get a wave. And I remember as I'm paddling by him, kind of like, we see, I'm kind of watching this wave, and you can't tell who's on the wave at the time, but if you really watch like the video of what's going on there, he's in the white, like behind it, kind of stuck behind it, I guess. And that was the last I looked. I'm, oh yeah, the guy's stuck behind it, whatever. Maybe this guy under me will go. And then so as I'm like literally almost about to paddle over this wave, I hear this, go, go, go. And I thought he was talking to me.
You thought you were getting hooted in.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why this guy's telling me to go after I just paddled around him. Like, you'd think he'd just be like, fuck this guy, I'm going to burn him,
Yeah.
And so I just turned around, and the last thing I remember was somebody kind of stuck behind. This is only a couple seconds back when I seen that. But so I just looked super quick to the left, and the glare's so bad, it's just kind of hit my eyes, and I'm like, oh, no one's there, and... So it all happened so fast that I just kind of took off.
It's a fast wave. You have to make a quick decision and get up quick too. So
very fast, yeah. So I just turned around, quick glance, seen the glare. Remember seeing a guy 2 seconds before, 3 seconds, kind of stuck behind. And if I would have known it was Dane Reynolds, I would have figured he was going to make it around that, but I didn't know. So I just went and took off and airdropped, and I heard the guy go, oh, and I'm wondering like, oh fuck, what happened? And then, then I did my El Rolo. That's probably like the first El Rolo clip I've ever had. I'm actually pretty stoked
that is
on
nice.
that.
That's too bad that wasn't in a QS or something. Yeah. The highlight reel on the Universal website.
I've done plenty of those in my life, but that's the first time I was caught on video. I'm actually pretty stoked.
4K video, by the way.
Yeah, 4K. yeah, guy's stoked.
So you go over, and it's not a big wave. You don't get worked or anything, but you go over the falls, or you fall, and then you come up. And what happens? So
I go over, do my whole kook out thing, and
do you see anybody on the wave at all? You don't. No. You never see the other guy. You never see Dan at all.
No, and he didn't even yell like "hey" or "whoa." Like, I don't know, if I'm in a barrel and somebody's about to drop in on me, I'm like, "hey!" Like, get the fuck out! Don't even think about it.
Not to be mean, maybe he was in the barrel enjoying the barrel. Like, oh, this is a pleasant, like almost transcendental like experience. I feel like my soul is leaving my body, and I'm watching on the. Like maybe he was having like some epiphany or like. Or whatever, and or thinking about taking a dump or whatever, but like maybe that's why.
Most likely, he's just thinking like, this guy's really not going to go in front of me.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Who's going to do that? But he. So basically, so I drop in, fall in front of him, I guess. I didn't know he's there even when I fell, and didn't even know it happened. The video.
But you guys didn't touch boards, right? You weren't that close.
No. It looks close in the video, but we didn't touch. It wasn't even close enough for me to know he was there. But don't get me wrong. I've seen the video 5,000 times in the last 5 days.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn close. And, so what happened was I come up from falling, and I'm just like, I hear somebody yelling, and I'm like, oh fuck, I snaked some local guy. Oh shit, and then I look kind of towards him, and this guy's like arms are waving. I'm like, oh, this guy's pissed. Fuck, I hope I don't get beat up right now. And then I look, and it's fucking like one of my favorite surfers is Dane Reynolds, and I'm like, oh shit, every single camera's pointed at this right now. Yeah. Like, I am so fucked. I'm just gonna let you know that, like, if you think of an embarrassing moment, like think of the most embarrassing moment of your life, like say that you like just have this new girlfriend, you go to meet her parents, and like her mom and her dad are super like weird about you already, and like say they're like really strict people, and they make you this nice dinner, and you sit down and say you just like you rip this fart
and you shit your pants.
yeah. Say you rip this fart. You think maybe it's going to be silent or something, or maybe it just accidentally comes out and it's super loud and it smells. Like imagine the embarrassment from that.
But this is 4K video, and the girl you're dating is Dane Reynolds. So it's hard.
Yeah. So times that by like 20, and you will feel like the embarrassment that I felt at that very very moment. I was like, oh, this.
It was
is
immediate.
Just...
Like you right then, you felt more than just feeling like a dick or whatever, or lame for doing that. You knew once you saw who it was, you knew the gravity of like, oh, this is a billion times worse than just snaking a guy on North Side or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, well, I'm glad it wasn't one of those like gnarly fishermen that just surf the points when it's good. I could have got the crap beat out of me, but luckily it was him. But unluckily it was him at the same time.
Two things I was thinking. Like the first thing I think of, number one in my head, like, oh, dude, it's probably some crusty like 46-year-old longshoreman guy who's like a fisherman dude who's just gonna literally just beat the shit out of me. Doesn't care if I call the cops. Oh my, has missing teeth and doesn't give a fuck. Oh my god, I'm dead. That's my first thought. But then second, when you see it's Dane Reynolds, you might be like, he doesn't ride for Quicksilver anymore, so he doesn't necessarily have to be like the. I mean, he still has other sponsors, obviously, but he doesn't. He could be. It's not gonna be like when Richie Collins beat up a kid in like the 80s or 90s at Lowers and lost all his sponsors. Like he doesn't have a main sponsor right now, so he could easily. Maybe Dane's been like, he's been losing weight lately. Maybe he's taking karate or some shit and wants to try it out. I might get beat up by Dane Reynolds. How weird. I mean, he's good at surfing, so maybe he's just physically, maybe he's just real coordinated, knows all this like capoeira or some. I'm gonna fucking like it's a double like worried about getting beat up. But then you're like the third worst is like, oh no, he's kind of just mad, but he's going to be cool about it. Then everyone's going to think I'm an even worse person than like.
Oh yeah, so I mean, when he was pretty mad at first. He just said
he just got to splash the water. They didn't paddle over and like try and bite your face or anything, right?
No. He raised his arms a couple of times and was like, "What the fuck was that? What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm looking at him. I'm like, and I literally felt bad. Like if I burned somebody on purpose, I wouldn't apologize to him. I would just be like, "Well, fucking suck it up," But I legitimately was like, holy shit, I'm so fucking sorry. Like I told him, I probably apologized to this guy like probably about 50 times at that moment. Like, whoa. I did not know you were there. And he realized that he kind of looked up, and I'm looking at him, and I think he's like, whoa, this fucking idiot didn't even know I was there. Actually, that's a little better. But,
yeah.
Well, no, he's seen how apologetic I was, and like you know me, I'm so mellow. I was like, this is just horrible, and so I just.
Do you think, did you actually verbally like offer to give him a blowjob, or was just your eyes pleading with him? He knew like this guy would give me a blowjob if I asked for one right now. He knew like that's how bad you felt.
Well, I knew that within the next couple days I was going to be bending over and spreading my cheeks for the internet anyway. Yeah. So I might as well have, But
what a great story that'd be. Yeah, I mean, because like whether it's Dane Reynolds or whoever, I mean, he's a person, and that is like getting burned like that does get you really mad, and you're in that situation, but. It's got to be, Chuck, like I said, I couldn't, like when I saw the clip, when I saw the article and I saw that was you, I was like, I can't even imagine being that cruisy and having that happen. And then, so he gets mad and he kind of yells, but like he paddles back out. He doesn't come towards you and want to like wrestle or anything, right?
No. When at first I didn't know what he was going to do, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be really fucked if I get in a fight with Dane Reynolds, man. I really don't want this to happen. Like this, that'll make this worst situation ever, like 100 times worse. I hope he like kind of listens to me real fast. And he listened to me, and he was like, he was totally cool. Actually, for the situation, he was a lot cooler than some people would be after the fact.
Yeah.
He was like, it was like, no worries, fuck. I mean, he almost killed me, and he paddled out, and he was kind of like tripping, and his friend asked him what happens. He's like, I got fucking burned. Like,
and you're sitting so like bad. 20 feet away. You're like, I'm right here, dude. Sound wave. The sound waves hurt my heart as much as anything else, by the way, bud. Because it is pretty funny, though, that you made like, not funny, but it's like, hipster surf Jesus drops some F-bombs on you. That's pretty terrible right there. Like, because he's a pretty mellow dude in the water. That's
great. I mean, I was actually, I felt it pretty much ruined my session. I couldn't even surf.
Later though, like 10 minutes later, you paddled by or something. He said it was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was having a horrible session. I was just so rattled. Guys on the beach are probably yelling kook. I had my earplugs in. I couldn't hear. I'm sure I was getting just the shit reeled out of me though. You know, I mean, my friend actually was on the beach. He told me guys were just freaking out, but it's whatever. I mean, I didn't snake them, you know. But anyways, so
you know what? When you snake Dane Reynolds, you snake a little piece of all those guys on the beach. You son of a bitch. So how long? We haven't talked about this. My theory is like you can't go right in. Then you have to stay out for at least 10 or 15 minutes just to save face. Like you're not a bitch. Like that's just going to run in with his tail between his legs. And or there's probably people waiting to beat you up. So maybe surf for 20 minutes. Like let them cool off or get interested in seagulls or something else besides waxing your windows and slashing your tires. So how much longer do you stay out? And what was the rest of the session like?
I stayed out for 2 more hours.
That was going to be your last wave, and you stayed out for 2 more. That is, dude.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know what people were saying from the beach, but I'm like, everybody saw this. If I go right in right now, I'm at least gonna have to deal with somebody, and I didn't really after what just happened. I'm not in the mood to deal with anybody else's shit now, you know. So I see him like maybe 20 minutes later. I see him in a barrel, and he came out. He got a lot of good waves. I'm sure he moved right on, you know. But he was paddling by me, and I was just like, it's like, hey, you know, I wouldn't just come up here and then just, I mean, look at anybody, especially you, and just kind of take off on you, right? I mean, fuck, I'm sorry about that, you know. And he was kind of, he wasn't pissed anymore. He was just like, nah. And he even said, he's like, I know it wasn't intentional. And then he's kind of like joking. He's like, but you almost fucking killed me.
And you know that, like, you know, like it happens in the summer. Like, so we in Huntington, surf Huntington a lot, and it's crowded all the time in the summer. It's just the floodgates. We have a lot of parking lots, so I think it's more crowded than Newport or anywhere else close by. Because those giant parking lots, and you can park on every numbered street. You get burned by a guy, and not to be mean to you, but it's also you get like a chick. And there's a lot of girls that surf very well now, and there's almost every girl that surfs better than me. So I'm not bagging on chicks, but like I felt like a girl, like maybe like a 17-year-old girl, dropping over the falls of me, and like her board like almost hits me in the eye, and it was clearly her fault. And she'd like paddle and say sorry, and I'm like, it's okay, but you did almost kill me. So he's kind of talking to you how you would talk to like a 17-year-old girl that went over the falls in front of you. So I'm sorry, that's awful, but it's like he's like, it's kind of nice. Oh, Dane Reynolds, just a regular guy, just kind of go. But you gotta suck all this up in one surf session.
Oh
dude.
yeah, it's so true. I mean, especially with the way I was surfing and stuff, I had the worst time ever. And I mean, he was just like, this kook just almost killed me.
And now he's trying to be my friend. He's probably going to add me on Instagram. Say sorry.
Yeah, he's, you know, I mean, it's pretty bad. But
you guys get pizza later? Are we gonna hang out?
So let me buy you a beer.
I got an Xbox. You play Xbox? Call of Duty?
So I mean, you know, it all honestly blew over in the water. Everybody in the water. I think I got a couple looks from a couple guys, but I'm so like just mellow and smiley. Like I seen a few of my friends out there after that, and I just like kind of threw up the peace sign and kind of just like I was not going to give them the embarrassment of even being my friend right there with all that attention on me.
So you
I
didn't
was
just
way over
paddle
it.
up and post up like, hey, what's going on? You have a good time?
Yeah.
No? So
yeah.
Okay, so you surf and you go in. I like the fact that you surf 2 hours because that's about the length of a regular session. So you waited out a whole group of surfers that hopefully got tired and went in. So by the time you were out there, it was all new people and those guys had left. That's genius. That's a good move, by the way. That's very smart. The second, so you go in and you change and you drive back home through traffic and all that. So between that afternoon and like when did the clips first start going online and when did the repercussions of this online happen? You know, how quickly was it? And when you got in your car when you're driving home, were you thinking like, oh, that's going to end up online? What did you think was going to happen, and what happened, and what was the timeline in between?
Well, okay, so when I got out of the water, I remember, I think like his video, or no one really said anything when I got out of the water, probably because I waited everybody out and they left and stuff, or they just got over it. I saw after that so many bad things happen. I mean, I saw Bobby Martinez get dropped in by a guy and even just as bad stuff. And I mean, he's like, I mean, I would imagine Bobby's like the king out there. I mean, if Curran's not out, but or even, I don't know, like I love Bobby Martinez, but anyways, that's another story. But Yeah, so I mean, I come in and I think his video. No one said anything except his video, and he was actually cool. He's like, "Whoa, how was that burn?" I was like, and honestly, like there was a group of people around. I was all, "Fuck, I'm so bummed. I felt so bad. I'm like, I just almost took the head off of one of my favorite surfers. This is horrible." And he was like, honestly, it was just like. It's like, yeah, it's just no worries. It happens. I'm sure he sees him get dropped in on all the time. It's just not 15 other guys don't video it and put it on their Instagram to get likes,
Yeah,
but,
and it's a weird thing with pros too. I feel like sometimes like there's a whole like subculture or subgroup of surfers or people or awful people that will try and like burn pros when they see them out because they feel like they're like sticking it to the man or giving them a lesson or whatever. And I always chip on that because like I grew up like we know a lot of pro surfer guys are like pro surfers and they're just they're at work. Like I mean if they're surfing lowers is super crowded or whatever, but if they're out like at some crappy beach break and you're out and some guy's trying to burn them, it's like, dude, they're just trying to get a video clip, and that's like it's so social media and video clip driven now. It's like that's their job. They have to get clips and it's annoying and the waves are always crappy. It's much crappier than it is good most of the time. But there's those dudes that like try and then like, yeah, you see me burn so and so. I'm like, yeah, I guess that guy can do like 4 foot tail high air reverses and you can barely do a cutback, but yeah, you showed him how to fucking go slow. I guess I don't know what the fuck like, and karate and you have tattoos and a man bun, so okay, you're the man now, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get your fucking Patrick Swayze Roadhouse on and the guy that's just trying to fucking I don't know, probably was homeschooled in his high school trying to make money and fucking support himself. It just seems like a dick move, and it just seems like they're like it's like up in that part of like Santa Barbara or like Ventura and stuff like that. They used to be like 20 years ago really anti like sponsored and pro surfers. Like before, probably Timmy Curran probably kind of burst the bubble on that. We're like, oh, we have guys up here ripped. They should be in videos and be on the tour and stuff like that. But before that, it was really bad. But like still, there's guys today that will burn pros. And the pro doesn't have to burn anyone. They'll see him and burn him instantly, and it's like that's harsh.
Oh yeah.
So it's good to know that you're not that kind of guy, Chuck.
Yeah,
because you are. You're so cruisy and so nice. It's just terrible. But that being said, you drive home. When does the online stuff start, and how does it start, and what happens?
So when I'm driving home, I mean, I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be fucked, and honestly. I get home that night and I'm just like,
did you tell your chick or tell your mom or somebody? Or
yeah, I told a couple friends what happened, and I'm like, I'm gonna get freaking reamed out so hard. It's gonna be. I could just tell already. I just knew it in my head, and I was hoping not, but I just knew it. And so I got home, and that night, I looked at my Instagram and stuff and all that, just like a normal little, just on my phone playing around. Didn't see anything. I'm like, oh. Maybe
okay,
not,
okay,
but
okay,
even though my buddy was there filming, and he's like, well, my boy got it on camera and he's going to make this big old thing of it. He's doing it right now. I'm like, and this is a good buddy of mine. And I'm just like, he's like, you can't expect not to get heckled for that. I'm like, you're totally right. I'm going to get reamed out. If he doesn't do it, someone else is. I've seen all the cameras on the beach. Let him do it, have at it, So the next morning, I wake up and the situation was so instilled in my head. I was like, I didn't really lose sleep over it, but I knew when I woke up, I was going to get, probably mad at something. And I think what was the first thing I saw? I think my friend had tagged me in his buddy's Instagram thing, the guy from up north and whatever his name is. I don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
So I looked at it, and there's all these people. They're just like...
So you were tagged pretty early on, so people figured out it was you, like the comment... People that live for just going in the comments and dicking around, where people like found out it was you pretty quick?
Well, actually, it was kind of my bad. My friend had just tagged my name in it, like anybody else that tags anybody that they want to see. They're like, hey, check this out.
Oh, so they would have thought they were like, hey, Bill, like, yeah, okay.
And, and then, so at the same time, I didn't say anything. I was just reading it. I'm like, well, people are like really mad. And like the guy that I took off on is even like mellowing over it. And now all these people are like, I could go on and on with metaphors of how mad they were. But,
yeah. But we'll get into that in a second, though. We'll talk about that. Hold on.
So then I think I the first thing I saw was somebody had tagged me to look at the inertia, and I looked at it. And I freaked out on those guys. I left this comment.
Theinertia.com, right?
Yeah. I just kind of went ballistic, and then then I looked at the guy's Instagram, and I knew it was his video that was going everywhere. So I wrote I fell into it pretty hard. I wrote this comment underneath his thing and on everybody, like trying to explain what happened. And I'm like, you know what, that was the fucking stupidest thing you could have ever done, and now all these people know it was you. And like, but most of these people, I mean, they're not really like, they're just people looking at the internet. You never know who they are. It could be some guy like sitting in his underwear taking bong hits, like going back and forth between like pornography and surf websites, and he sees something funny and he like writes about it and gets pissed off, and then he goes back to the pornography website, like wanks one out and gets over it. Like, you never know. You never know who's behind it.
Maybe he's thinking about you when he does it. So I don't know. Maybe he goes, oh yeah, they burned that guy so hard. Oh, I'm hard. Oh man. Puddle of shame, nap. I can picture, but I see that morning you flipping the switch, becoming instant internet stalker, like looking at the profiles of people that said like, and like, oh, that guy's a kook. That guy's, you're like, oh, that guy, look at that guy. Oh, he likes boy bands, or like, look at their likes. And, oh, what a kook, like you're like trying to write them off, but you can never win that game on the internet, because it's like, again, like with, especially the website, like the discus comments that are like, you can make a fake profile. Like, oh, you're mad at like Bitter Guy 69 and Negatron up your butt, and like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no like, you're mad at a guy whose avatar is like a retarded kid pooping in his own mouth. You know what I mean? Like, how are you mad at that? Like, that's the crazy part too. And we like I when I called you yesterday, I was like, because I really did. I wanted to get you on the. We were going to launch this website or launch the podcast like in a few weeks, like in probably like February, but this is going up in January, because I'm like, oh dude, this is Chucky. This is the exact kind of like reason I want to do a surfing podcast. It's not necessarily the most famous people or whatever, like people, but like things that are like that happen in real life and surfing to actual surfers. And you're a good surfer, so it's good. I mean, I would love it. I would love if something like this happened and the guy was a total kook, but he was a kook that like never surfed and didn't give a crap. He's like, I'm a lawyer, I'm rich, suck my dick. Like, I would love to interview that guy that like did it on purpose. But like, and he sees like on a wave storm and like a helmet and booties and a spring suit. He's like, yeah, Dane Reynolds can, dude, I have a Lamborghini. Fucking, I do cocaine and helicopters. This guy's a fucking Barney. Guy can't even spell. Like just some kind of like just some real like alpha male, just asshole like USC grad who's like, she's like, my girlfriend's a model and I could kill her and get away with it. I'm loaded. My dad plays so much fucking golf. Like that kind of guy. Like that'd be my dream interview. That'd be the best, because the comments like, this guy doesn't even surf. This is a surfing podcast. Like, this is the people that fucking have been in the ocean that are fucking maniacs podcast this week, because this guy rules. He's my new sidekick. But with you, that like, you are the perfect guy to have on the show, because you're so normal and you're such not a dick, and you got like kind of swept up. So I guess my point is, Chucky, it's sucks for you right now, and it's going to suck for the next few weeks. But like I said, let's cross our fingers that, like, it's El Nino. We're going to have a lot of swells this winter. Let's hope, like I said, some lawyer on a wave storm and like a hot pink, like custom, $2,000 Japanese suit just burns the shit out of Kelly Slater somewhere good, and like runs into him and then tries to fight him. And then the guy takes all this crazy Krav Maga because he's rich, the little rich guys that has like a dojo in the house for no reason, like Elvis or some shit. And then he fights Kelly and Kelly Slater loses an eye. No offense, I don't really want Kelly Slater, but he does. He has like an eye patch, like that bald head. So now he looks like a fucking pirate and he's all pissed. And then the guy sues Kelly because he says he endangers his life, and he turns out like he's some big lawyer for some like rich oil company. It's like, holy fuck, Kelly Slater's going to go to jail, even though, like, let's hope that happens, because it will take some of the shame away from what happened to you this week. Sorry, I'm sorry. The whole time you told me, I was thinking like the craziest stuff that I've seen happen with like other people on the internet. I work now. I work as a copywriter and a social media like a social media manager and digital campaign specialist. So I deal with like creating social media campaigns or running like pages for like, sometimes I do freelance a lot, but I've worked for brands where like I worked one time for Hungry Man Dinners. Like, we ran a Facebook page for Hungry Man Dinners. Genghis Khan had traveled through time to be like, I like video games. So we were tweeting and posting as Genghis Khan for 6 months, and people would be mad at Genghis Khan and call him the F word and the N word and like call him a piece of shit, pick fights with him. One afternoon I spent I had to stay late at work because two kids in the Midwest that I found on Facebook had found this page and were posting Nazi porn on the Facebook page and had all these fake accounts. And it's a corporate, I'm working for like this like Hungry Man Dinners, like a family brand. So I'm literally just going and blocking and deleting and reporting and blocking. And these kids have like multiple accounts, and they just keep posting Nazi porn forever because everyone on the internet is a piece of garbage, is my point. And that's kind of what I feel about this comments thing, is like, you hit it right in the head, dude. It's like anyone that's leaving a negative comment, like 99 out of 1,000 times, it's just a dude or a girl, or a dude or a dudette, I guess. You go a chick. Chick's kind of seems kind of derogatory. It's either a man or a woman sitting on a toilet who's bored, who's like scrolling through, sees a clip, like, oh, that guy writes you off, or it's like. There was a guy that we talked about before the show. I'm not calling any of the commenters out because I think it's kind of lame. But there's a guy. It's a fake name. This guy's name is Bitter Guy, and he just wrote all these long, mean comments. And he's like, "Well, this guy probably thinks this," and like he's putting all these like thoughts and words in like your head or mouth that you would never say that you're totally not like. But then I looked at all the other comments. He's also writing these giant paragraphs, fighting with everybody else in that comment thread, and then in other comment threads. I'm like. Oh, that's just what that guy does. That guy, you know what I mean? Instead of like playing Call of Duty or jacking off, he probably does those too. And listen, hey, those aren't bad ways to pass your time. And I'm not putting down either of those. Those are national, respected things that everyone participates in this country, and it's a beautiful thing. But between jacking off and playing Call of Duty and probably like dropping F-bombs on little kids online on the headset, which is a dick move, by the way. Don't cuss at little kids on fucking Xbox. What are you, a fucking monster? But this guy's thing is he goes online and fucks with people, and I, being the enlightened, loving, just such great, empathetic being that I am now. Dude, when I was younger, I was the biggest dick online. I'd go in like AOL chat rooms and tell people to fuck off and, to post butthole pictures and stuff. So I get, like, the reason I don't like people that are dicks and like trolls online, like, because I've been that guy. And I know that all of us have that guy or that person inside of us in this shitty dark corner, and we usually ignore it. And sometimes, surfers are kind of, we heckle each other and we're kind of dicks, really. Do you think about it?
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of free time. I mean, you're surfing and there's a lot of lulls to say, make fun of somebody's haircut or their wetsuit or whatever. The one comment I did like is one person asked him, what's their, I think it was, I don't know who it was, but the one mean comment that wasn't a mean comment, they asked, what's the red wetsuit compensating for? Because in the video you're wearing a red wetsuit. And that's a nice wetsuit, man. It's a red wetsuit, but it's not obnoxious. When I saw you earlier this winter, like when we started wearing full suits because the water was warm for a long time, like I saw you in that wetsuit like a couple months ago. I'm like, hey man, Chucky's got that's a good wetsuit, man. That's a red wetsuit, and it looks good on him, and it doesn't stick out too much. Like he's trying to be like a photo pro or some idiot. He's just like everyone wears black. Chucky's a good guy. He surfs good. Fuck yeah, man. Wear red. Wish I had a red wetsuit because sometimes my wife goes up on the pier with my son, and he's only 2, and she wants to point him out, and like I would like, hey, Daddy's in the red wetsuit, falling and getting snaked and being a kook, but irregardless, yeah, so it's a good wetsuit. So what's the story of the wetsuit?
So usually I actually wear a black wetsuit.
You do.
Whiteboard.
Maybe blue
pretty mellow, and this time around I had honestly, this is the funny thing. I'm like such a Dane Reynolds fan in the first place. I had like my wannabe like Dane Reynolds like Sharpie colored black and white board. I just used a big Sharpie and colored my board because I saw it on his board and I was like, that's fucking sick. And I love the way that guy surfs. I think that's fucking rad. So I put it on my board, and then I had a red wetsuit. The wetsuit I got ended up being red. I mean, I don't know about compensating for anything. It's not like I drive like a monster truck like through like crowded streets in Newport Beach or anything like that. But, yeah. I've always driven cars, but it's just a wetsuit. I don't care. Sometimes I have wetsuits that are more colorful. Sometimes I have black ones. I mean, for the last 2 years I've had a black one, so I felt like changing it up and put a little color. And I mean, at least, if I do an El Rolo in front of somebody, they can see it because I have a red wetsuit. Yeah, exactly.
And we had posted like a meme video or a meme picture on the Instagram page for the show where it's like, hey, it's a picture of you dropping it on Dane, and it says, oh, the one time when the sun's in your eye and a guy yells to go and you burn everyone's favorite free surfer. And in the comments, I said, hey, we're going to interview this guy. Do you have any questions? And I put like, hey, by the way, this guy's super nice. He surfs really good. And he's worked in the surf industry for years. And somebody was like, I think it might have been Better Guy. What the fuck does he working in the surf industry have to do? And my point was like, you worked in the surf industry where you wouldn't go burn a pro for no reason. And you would know who the guy was, obviously. And this guy is like, this guy hasn't had a real job. I'm like, dude, working in the surf industry is a goddamn, it's a grind. It's not like the easiest thing in the world to do. And you've done a couple different jobs. Before we end the show, as you as a person, you worked at a surf shop for a million years. Where did you work?
Okay, so I mean, I didn't really read all those comments. I actually fell
Sorry, I'm not trying to
no.
Yeah,
I just
laugh that they're not like, they're so not about you. They're just about this person just being mad to waste 11 seconds of their life. So that's why you shouldn't take it personally. Because you have worked in the surf industry, but like in a lot of different ways. So like surf shop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as I go there, I stopped reading them about after 24 hours, and then And then so I didn't really know all that, but I don't really care. I think it's great. I mean, but anyways, so as far as my jobs in the surf world, I grew up, I was sponsored by Lost since 2003, a couple other companies, Black Flies, and some companies, I mean, I was never like a big time guy, but I was, good enough to at least get close. So that's actually when you don't get dropped from your sponsors, is when they don't have to pay you.
You get free trucks for life.
Yeah, they'll always give you free shit. So it's like, so I kind of scored with that one. At least I still get free shit. All these guys get dropped after they're my age. I mean, I'm 37,
Yeah, you're still
if
surfing.
you're not on the
good.
CT, or if you're not making every covers of magazine, I mean, you're not going to have sponsors. But if you never got paid, they don't give a fuck.
Board
They'll
shorts
keep you
and
on
a
the
tank
team
top,
until you're 50.
You're good to go. Yeah, you'll be AARP fucking ripping it up. Okay.
But so when Lost started their surf shop in San Clemente, I want to say it was 2006 or 2007, and they took over Jimmy Nuno's place, the San Clemente Surf Company. He kind of let him inherit it, basically, since that's where they started everything. Lost was started in that surf shop, and so basically it was called Catalyst Surf Shop. I helped start it with those guys. It was Mike Riola and Matt Biolis on their own, and me and this girl Nicole, and we were like the first employees. Well, the guy that hired me actually was the first employee, Scott Metzner, but then he moved to Timmy Patterson. But I could talk about all that. He's a super cool guy, so one of my best friends. But anyway, so I worked for them for about, I want to say, from 2007 on and off until 2013. In that time, I actually ended up working for their website and putting up stories and team pages, kind of like all the stuff that's going on about me.
So
I
you
guess
kind of like
karma.
made your own bed, dude.
Yeah, totally. I put up stories. I was pretty mellow about it.
Did you ever post a video of somebody, quote unquote, being a kook and I'm doing something in an unfavorable light, maybe?
I can't really
remember.
Yeah, I can't really remember. I mean, I was probably having some good times partying through those years too. So I might have done something and not even fucking known about it the next day. Who knows?
No, that's Lost mostly just posts clips of their team riders, like either winning a contest, free surfing, or surfing a new model. So yeah, you probably aren't. Yeah,
totally. So I don't take that stuff to heart. And so besides that, during that time, I got hired as a replay guy for all these surf contests. I was the instant replay guy for all these webcasts. We know when I started with this company, they were doing all the California ones. The Vans Pro, the Lowers one, the Body Glove Surf Bout, which turned into the Nike 6.0, and we were still doing that actually at that time. The Cold Water Classic, that one was epic. We'd go up there every year and have a fucking shit show. We'd party and work. I mean, I'd be half asleep doing this freaking webcast all day, every 5 days in a row, because we partied so hard the night before.
But it's a circuit. It's a production. You guys got to go up there, set everything up, and then be on top of it, and then every little thing that breaks. Because the webcasts have gotten a lot better, in the last couple of years, especially. But like, webcasts were notorious because they were always broken or slow or glitchy or whatever. What was causing that? Was that you being hungover, or was it just because the technology was so new and evolving? Like, what were the biggest problems that you guys had to overcome early on?
Well, as far as stuff breaking down, it's usually some cable that gets fucking kicked or somebody's, who knows what happens. But there's always a technician that actually goes and fixes it. There's a couple guys out there that just, you say there's a problem and they know like right where to go, because it's all their equipment and they know it in and out. I mean, these guys I work for, it's crazy. So I mean, as far as the replay stuff, when I started, we were using a DVR. I had a remote.
Like a TiVo?
Yeah. So I was actually doing the Body Glove Surf Bout. The Vans Pro Body Glove Surf Bout, the HIC Pro in Hawaii. The first year I did that, it was with the DVR and the cold water class, all that stuff. I don't even know. It was just this
like
little,
a rip-off Comcast one.
Yeah. Honestly, just a little shitty DVR. I mean, I'm sitting there with a remote control, like I'm watching TV at my house, and something cool happens, and I just rewind it. They'd say play it, I'd play it, and if something really cool happened for the highlights show, I would just like bookmark it. But you couldn't like edit it or anything. You would just like have to bookmark this, bookmark that, and then it would just at the end of the day, if you look at those old webcasts, the highlights. I mean, maybe on the CTs they were using EVS at that point, but the highlights for the ones I was doing, they would just be like a little the highlights that would happen like throughout the day. Some of them were edited, some of them weren't, and I tried to make them as good as I could. But then then they moved on to higher technology. Actually, the next year, that was only the first year. And as far as the replays go, usually there's no problem. Sometimes a guy like I've been doing it forever, so this really doesn't happen to me all that often. And if it has, I got my ass chewed out for it a couple times, of course, like everybody does during a show.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the only thing that you'll ever see with a replay where the replay messes up is like if the replay guy has this clip of like say Kelly Slater gets a 10 and he's replaying the clip and the he doesn't count down the director on when it's going to be over, or he doesn't leave enough tail on it or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the shit just stops and you're like you're
Dead
watching
air.
it and you're like, whoa, they paused him like kicking out. Like is this like there's something gnarly happening?
Oh,
right
at the
there?
end of the clip,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
stops
yeah.
at the last frame.
Yeah, I mean the people catch that so fast that they move off of it and viewers don't even notice. That's pretty much probably the only like thing that could go wrong with the replays, or you could actually accidentally replay the wrong angle.
Yeah.
Guy gets a sig barrel
From
or
behind
something.
the peak, you're like, I can't see
guy
anything.
gets a sig barrel and you're like, fuck, and it's so fast paced. Somebody will be like, I got it, ready to go, and they're all right, play it, get it over. It's real fast paced sometimes. I mean, you're drinking 5 coffees and fucking. I mean, guys are crazy.
But because the contest starts early in the morning too, usually, so it's an all day thing, right? You're like in the chair from like 8 to 4 or whatever.
Oh yeah, you'll be down there at the beach. I mean, from anywhere from 5:30 or 6, and then the contest will be live from 8 to 4, 8 to 5. I remember one year the ECSC of Virginia, Virginia Beach, they had a hurricane coming. I think it was 2000. What was it? 2013 or no? 2011. It's 2011. Hurricane's coming. So the last day, I think they ran 16 hours to get it done early. 16 hours straight, and 14 or 6. It was the longest thing ever. I mean, there's some long ones, those ISA ones. I traveled the world doing the ISA ones for a while, and those guys, I mean, they run 10 straight days, 10, 12-hour days, and that's just
Why?
live.
Because
That's
there's so
just
many.
live.
Because there's so many divisions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, the ISA, it's rad to watch. I mean, but there's so many rep charges. Like a guy will lose like 2 times, but still win the whole contest.
Yeah, yeah. They want to keep people because they come from so far. They want to make sure that everybody gets a fair chance to surf a couple times. So it's like, fly to Peru and lose first heat. You're 12 and you blow your brains out.
Yeah, some poor kid from Guatemala spends all his fucking money that he from his whole family to fly to China to surf a contest, loses first heat. They're not just going to let him go out like that. So they do a couple rep charges, and I mean, some of those kids actually rip. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, it's not their fault. I mean, dude, it's a heat. Someone's going to lose.
Yeah, totally. So it's long days and stuff like that. So pretty much the whole point of the jobs I had in the surface year, I know who all these guys are. I mean, I grew up surfing in contests. I'm actually friends with most of the guys that I would end up doing replays of, and
that was the thing we talked about too, is because like you got like when you travel with like a contest, you're with all the people working the contest and the judges and whoever, but also the surfers. So when you're a surfer, you bring a board, you're free surfing, so you're surfing with guys that are in the contest. So if they burn you on a wave, you can like accidentally forget to like lose the replay or whatever.
Yeah, it might have happened a couple times. I mean, that just goes to show I've got the crap burned out of me before, by way more people, But anyways, yeah. So I mean, when you go to these places, they fly you to Nicaragua. You're going to be there for 12 days. I mean, yeah, I bring my board in every second that I'm not working. I'm surfing. You know what I mean? I barely eat or drink or anything. I think I'll surf like right when the contest is over. I'm in my trunks. These guys are giving you mate all day. All the freaking South and Central Americans, they drink mate like it's crack. They just drink that shit all day long. So I'll have probably like 10 or 12 of those little tiny teacups of mate through the day.
So you're wired.
So I'm watching these guys rip all day. I'm replaying I'm watching these guys waves like 4 times because I'm like watching them, then rewinding them, then playing them, and then watching them again to see if it's a highlight, and editing them. Some waves I watch like 100 times just to or if it's sick, I'll just keep watching it. But usually I don't have time. But so I'm so fired up. I'll be out there, from the end of the contest until dark. I'll come in, have like 2 beers and like a piece of pizza, and pass out. Wake up, do the whole thing again the next morning. But sometimes there's been a couple occasions where a couple guys have been in the water. Of course, I'm surfing with the crowd usually, unless I have time to go somewhere else. But usually, I only have time to surf the contest area.
You can't go to like the secret point break an hour away or whatever. Yeah,
and I mean, imagine the ISA. Say it's the ISA Masters. It's at a point break in Ecuador, and there's like, the top 4, Masters, the 40 and over guys, for the older division. I mean, those guys are the most respected guys where they're from. Most of them are like Latin American, where like they get all the waves where they're from. It's like, I mean, imagine Santa Barbara times like.
It's just a different cultural mindset. It's like the hierarchy is more established. Where the guys at the top, he gets all the waves, and that's just the way it is. And it's not weird there. It's just how it is. People look to like work their way up here. It's like everybody that can go buy a board off the rack of surfing sport wants to be Kelly Slater or Dane, and is dropping into the same waves.
Yeah. So imagine a situation like that where there's 45 of these guys.
Alpha males from all over the world.
Yeah, alpha males. They're super respected where they're from. They're some of them are full pro surfers so I'll go out there, and I remember one session I got just so roasted. I think I got like 2 waves in about 4 hours one day at this, this right. It was actually a super fun trip. I got a lot of good ones throughout the trip, but this one session it was going off and I couldn't get a wave. Just 3 guys on a wave, and I'm sitting there just thinking, fuck. Replay machine's going to be down every time this guy takes off on a wave.
You're just going to replay them until they pearl or dig rail or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't really do that because I lose my job. I mean, but there's probably been a couple times where guys have been like, you got that replay of the guy's 6. I'm like, angle doesn't look that good. It's just a 6, even though the guy's like ripping, but he just roasted the crap out of me the day before or something, But I mean, yeah, that happens.
I got one quick question because you deal with all this. Sir, I feel bad, and not for all of them, but for pretty much most of them, surf commentators on the surf contests, whether it's the WSL above and below. It's just like that's as part of his job as editing, doing what you did. It's that the commentators have a hard job because they have to talk for 8 hours about, and most I would say, dude, what do you think? 80% of surfing is lulls. Is just 2 dudes sitting there staring at each other, waiting to get bitten by a shark. Hopefully not. It's. I think it's fine. Some of the commentators deserve it, but it's so funny because they roast Potter because they'll say the same little catchphrases over and over and over. But it's like, dude, this guy's a world champ. He's commentating now, so it's exciting to him, but he can't really. And it's a job, so he can't really say what he's saying. That guy surfs like a kook, but he got a 7. That was too high because they can't say stuff like that. How do you feel about that? How do you feel like commentator? What do you think the hardest job is? I think commentator is pretty bad because talk about you getting roasted off of this one wave, but people didn't really know who you are. This guy is like, hey, I'm so and so, and they have to give out their Twitter handles and they have to be on social media, so they're just getting crapped on in the biggest way. I mean, I have group texts on my phone where guys are just some of my buddies are just ripping on the cast.
I know, and those guys, it's funny because they're usually old pro surfers or even younger guys, and they're all really good at what they do, honestly. Some of them, they just all have their own styles. They got it rough, definitely, because they're on camera the whole time, and just like you said, I mean, there's so many people out there that, it doesn't matter if you're cool, if you're not, or what, if they see an opportunity to make fun of somebody, they're gonna.
Yeah.
And those guys, they get torn apart sometimes. I think I was watching the backdoor shootout or something, or I read something online, and guys were even I think there's an article actually on one of the websites, Beach Grit or something, where people were all mad at Kaipo and Rocky or something for some, who knows, but it's people they take the time to actually really get mad over any of that stuff. It's pretty heavy, but
just 2 dudes trying to fill time. Yeah, the WSL gets kind of, sometimes you're like, oh god, they're really trying to make this dramatic when it's the waves are huge. It's 4 foot. The waves, these guys surf 80-foot waves and they're free surfing.
Yeah,
so you do. I mean, they do, but it's a job. They have to do something. But I like the backdoor shootout this year. I like the webcast a lot because it's this is not a slam of them at all. It's so kind of the commentating is so kind of half-assed, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's so casual. They have guys drop by. They'll have 2 guys in the desk, and they'll have guys drop in through the day, and they're answering their Instagram and tweeting oh, I just got a text from so and so, and they'll tell stories about going to school in Hawaii and stuff they would have done, or even talk about stuff like Kill a Howley Day or stuff that's kind of edgy. That's we kind of because the surfing day kind of whitewashes and paints over that stuff so much. It's the perfect world. Hawaii's kind of a gnarly place, and it's an awesome place, but it can be gnarly. And I really got a kick out of watching that contest because the waves were pumping, but they were telling funny stories, and it was almost kind of cool to see guys without a script, just kind of talking stories, shooting the shit. And a couple times, one of the guys, I think Mike Kaipo, got in trouble, they're just giving me the cut it sign to stop talking about what we're talking about, because I forget. They were talking about something some kind of the schools of Hawaii fighting or something like that, and how tough something was, and they they don't want people telling people if you go to Hawaii you might get beat up. But I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I saw that of an article of people writing them off or getting mad at them, and it's dude, it's just 2 dudes that surf that are talking for a long time, and they're trying to make it fun and be funny. And surfers, I think, are naturally funny people, but the sense of humor is kind of messed up and mean, and a lot of the humor comes from picking on each other and other people and strangers and kooks, because surfers are kind of dicks, which the internet this week has shown you.
Yeah. I mean, I after the first 24 hours when I kind of just let it roll off the back of my head, because you never know who these people are, and it doesn't really matter, honestly. it's so funny. I got like probably up most of like 200 people that were messaging me and stuff that are just like, fuck yeah, burn that guy. And I'm like, that's fun. That's funny and all, but I didn't mean to, you know. I mean, thanks for the support, though.
Like
and
internet
all, but,
vigilantes,
you know,
like surf vigilantes.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, so I actually seen both sides of the spectrum. Everybody's like just so like instigative, whether they're on one side or the other. Everybody's instigative about stuff like that. People just feed off drama, man. And honestly, since it happened, I've probably surfed every day and been scoring around home. I've spent so much time in the water and just doing other stuff that, you know, after it got to me for the first 24 hours, and I'll admit it gets to you when you look. Like you said, like the first day I looked at it, you know, I looked some guys like, a lot of people tried to go with like the kook of the day thing, and they never put it up or whatever. So it's whatever with that. I mean, it went all over the place, so it doesn't matter really. But dude, but I mean, when the first time when I first kind of fell into it, I fell for it all at first. I started looking at guys' profiles, pics that would actually call me that, and it's a guy riding like a 6'8" like fun board and like, you know, 3 foot little surf, and I'm like, this guy thinks I'm a kook, but then I look at the video and I'm like, oh, I look like the biggest kook in the video, so it's whatever.
But dude, I'm telling you, from the first time I saw the video till the like instant that I found out that it was you, it was like a complete 180 where I was like, dude, the feelings that like washed up. I like had empathy, obviously, but like, dude, I'm like, that guy is such a good guy. Like, there's no, and it's like that. Chuck is not that guy that would do that on purpose or whatever. And you do surf better than you surf in that video, by the way. That's a terrible video. Like, I think you said, like, I'm sure a couple the websites will end up doing follow-up write-ups on you, and hopefully they'll probably borrow some clips from you so you can put up some waves. You're actually doing some good turns and stuff.
I hope so. It's like my friend said at my wedding actually a little while ago, which ironically was in Ventura, like right down the street from where Dane grew up and all that. You know, and you know, it's just what my buddy said actually in his speech. He's like, you know, I traveled the world with Chucky, and I'll tell you right now, there's no in between. He either has like the best luck, like he comes home with the best story, or he has the absolute worst luck in the fucking world. It's one or the other. Like, I'm either going to come home and be like, fucking surfed with Dane and Bobby and you know, we had beers after and I got all these clips. I'm going to be on Marine Layer. I'm so stoked, you know? Or I'm going to come home and be like, fuck, I accidentally burned Dane and the whole world wants to fucking burn me down.
I backed over his dog in the parking lot. It was a rough day, guys.
Yeah, it's one or the other. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum. I've never, ever had like an in-between day where I came home and been like, oh, it was kind of fun, cool. You know, it's always something like super duper killer or something that's just like the worst thing ever, which in this case was like, I mean, I would have rather just slipped and fucking landed in a pile of shit with my face than have had that happen out there. At that time, it was freaking embarrassing. But anyways, you know,
Chuck,
just like I said, I mean, if you fart in front of your girlfriend's parents or something, times that by 100, and that's pretty much where I was at that very moment. I was like, oh no.
Oh, Chucky, dude, you're a good surfer. You're a good guy. I appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, and telling the story and sharing with us. I know it was like, you know, an hour of rubbing salt in the wound, but I really did want to get your side of the story. And I do think you're just such a neat dude. I just wanted to, you know, it's an honor to have you on the show and to have you like fucking the first guest. That's killer. But I don't know. This is normally when someone comes on a podcast or any kind of a radio show or whatever, at the end, it's like, oh, do you have anything to plug or any way people can get in contact with you? Do you want to give out your social media, if like your Instagram, your Twitter handle, or you're like, hey, you know what? Just like me from afar.
Yeah. You know, my friends, my friend,
your Instagram is for your family, and that's about it. It's like, you're not trying to be a public persona.
Yeah. My stuff's all personal. Maybe I'll make a little surf page, you know. But my stuff's more personal. I used to kind of like have a lot of the followers because of the surfing thing, but now that I'm 37, I have a personal life.
You're a surfer for fun. You love it.
So
you surf because you love it, not because you're trying to like prove anything or whatever.
Yeah, you know, and I mean the bottom line is, I mean, a lot of the, I guess from what I've seen, a lot of the people that are like fans of Dane are super mad, and I'm probably the guy that's watched more Dane clips than all of them. I've watched, I mean, I can tell you since it happened, even though it kind of like I was pissed at first, I've probably watched Dear Suburbia like 20 times, like before I surfed to like get amped to go surfing. Like it really was no big deal. I sent him a personal message and was just like, hey, you know, don't let I don't even know if you fall into it, but if you're letting anybody instigate, you know, anything, I just know you're all good with me, man. You know, I mean, he's still one of my favorites. You're up there in like the top 10. I mean, you know, there's like Aki Curran, Bobby, you know, Wardo, Mason. There's some guys in there, and he's up in that group, and that should be a fucking honor, man. You know, but
the Chucky top 10.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's some good. My top 10's pretty heavy, but anyways, you know, yeah. So there's no hard feelings. It was an accident. I'd love to say that it was on purpose, just to give a couple people that were saying stuff like the satisfaction of like me like saying that, because what you were showing me was the guy he really wanted.
The
me
guy's name is Bitter Guy, though. I mean, you gotta take that with a grain of well, maybe that's not the most accurate portrayal of the human condition that we need to like celebrate.
Yeah, not tripping at all. It's what it is, But I mean, I would really like to give somebody the satisfaction of saying like, yeah, I did it on purpose. I knew it was there, but I really did.
I would like if you maybe like took this and just flipped the script on it and became the guy who burns everyone, and you only wear bright colored wetsuits and you travel around like to Rincon. You're like burning the Coffin Brothers. You're down at Lowers burning all the all the Gudaskas brothers, whatever. Like you just go to like the most famous spots in the world and burn like the coolest locals that everyone loves. Maybe like Aritze and Ibiru or whatever the guys. The guy from Europe. You're like just snaking him. You go to France and burn Mark Lacknamore. You just burn every. You're stuffing. You're like maybe there's a wave where like Poto is he's on an SUP like, and he's coming in, and Manoa is like dropping. Like they're doing like this Tahitian like celebration wave where like there's gonna be like the postcard. It's gonna be a picture of like the 3 greatest Tahitian surfers ever, and it's gonna be a picture on the money. That's the money in Tahiti is gonna have this picture, and then you're like burning them, and like on one of those motorcycles that's like that has that guy that like motorcycle Chopu. You're on that. You're on a motorcycle flipping these guys off. Like what you could become that guy. I mean, we could talk to Monster or like one of the more like or Fox, one of the more like kind of like I don't know, extreme brands and kind of rebrand you like, I'm 37, I don't give a shit, man. I got a bad back. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like you could always I'm on Vicodin. Fucking I don't get like you could be that guy. Or you could just keep being your cool, super solid dude self. And I hope you stay yourself, and I hope you catch a ton more waves this winter. And Chuck, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And the bottom line, it was really not a big deal, but it just, it's the one that's seen all around the world, and it happens. I'm still a Dane fan. I think he's great. It's no big deal at all. And I mean, I guess I never really, once I stopped paying attention to it, but from the negative comments I did see, I mean, I guess I don't know, people just. I personally just forgive everybody. That's the kind of guy I am. That's how I like to roll. I mean, the only way to really be happy is just to forgive people and forget. People could be as mad as they want. I don't really know them, so I really don't care. But in the end, they'll find something else to be mad at. They probably already have found a few other things this week, but maybe they need some yoga classes or like some meditation or something. But the bottom line is, there's no hard feelings. The internet's the internet. It's something you shouldn't even look at. I think Kelly Slater said, I'll never be Kelly Slater, but Kelly Slater said that if he looked at, or took offense to all the stuff said about him on the internet, and I mean, he's the best surfer in the world, and he would have killed himself by now,
Yeah,
so
sure.
you just can't pay attention to that, and just everybody should just, maybe if someone really is really mad about something like that, I mean, they should maybe just like walk out to their local beach and, just sit down and smoke a joint and just kind of like just enjoy it, and just there you go. Just forget about it. I mean, I don't do drugs myself. I just figured that.
What about it? What do they want to go to the beach and they just rollerblade instead?
Yeah,
they just go for
something like
they
that.
Just strap on the blades and they just put on the headphones. Just Michael Bolton or something. Just some smooth sax, and they just blade for a couple miles and just let all that negativity leave. You think same, or smoke a joint?
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, just do something. Just do something to put yourself in a happy mind frame. Life's too short to be mad. Especially if you're not even the person that got burned. It's too short to waste your time. And I mean, I don't think I'm worth wasting the time on personally. So it's no big deal. But just hope everybody's stoked and having a good day and enjoying life and shutting their computer screens and going to the beach.
Cool, dude. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yes, sir.
But that does it for the first episode of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share it with your friends. The show is available on, like I said, on iTunes and SoundCloud. Please subscribe, leave us a message or a comment and a review if you can. You can also listen to the show on our website, thesurfingpodcast.com. And we're on social media. Twitter, we're at Surfing Podcast. On Instagram, we're at The Surfing Podcast. And then I think there's another on Facebook. We're facebook.com/the surfing podcast. So you can we post clips and videos of surfing like everybody else does. And if you have an idea for a show, if you know someone that I should interview that should be on the show, or if you'd like to be on the show, or if you know an interesting story or something we should cover on the show, hit us up on the surfingpodcast.com website. There's a contact page. You can send us an email, or if you want to be more anonymous, hit us up from your fake Twitter or Instagram or Facebook account if you want. I'm really not trying to play FBI and figure out who you are. I'm just trying to get good and compelling content for the shows coming up. Next week's guest is most likely going to be my good friend, surfboard shaper and surfer extraordinaire, Mr. Cordell Miller. Unless something, crazy extraordinary happens, like, I don't know, Kelly Slater gets burned by like a hammerhead shark on a jet ski at Mavericks that cuts him off and then turns out to be like his long lost son or something. Because then I'll try and get either that shark. I mean, Kelly's probably too busy, but I'll try and get the shark or the guy who rented it or sold the jet ski to him or something like that for an in-depth, really, deep digging interview. But probably not. It'll probably be Cordell Miller. Again, like us on social medias and visit our website, listen to our show, share it with your friends. And until next time, this has been the Surfing Podcast. We'll see you soon.